Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another inspirational heart-to-heart talk. I'm John Kuert, the interim pastor at First Assembly in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. And we've been talking this week about fear, different kinds of fear. And yesterday we left off talking about the fear of failure. And I mentioned there's 4 things that we need to remember about failure. Remember this: first of all, everybody fails. Secondly, realize that failure is not fatal. It's not the end. Thirdly, we need to recognize the benefits of failure. And fourthly, relax in God's grace. So I want us to look at right now today at the benefits of failure. You say, what in the world are you talking about? We usually think of failure as a negative experience. But wise people know that the Bible talks about it in book of Proverbs, and that they know how to take advantage of failure. They learn from it. They make the most of it. They use it as an education. These are the benefits of failure. And one of the primary tools that God uses in your life to make you what He wants you to be is failure. Well, what possible good is failure in your life? Well, 3 reasons. First of all, God uses failure to educate us. Mistakes are simply learning experiences. There are some things we only learn through failure. For some people, that's the only way they learn. Proverbs 28:13 says, "A man who refuses to admit his mistakes can never be successful." Well, how do you learn to become a success? By learning what doesn't work and not doing it anymore. Rick Warren, the pastor of the Saddleback Church in California, I've read his book and heard him many times speaking, and he said he did more things that didn't work than did work, but they kept learning and they kept trying until they were running in numbers over 20,000 people in church. Take a note of that. Then the second thing is God uses failure to motivate us. Proverbs 20:30 says, "Sometimes it takes a painful situation to make us change our ways." That's from the Good News translation. A lot of times we change not when we see the light, but when we feel the heat. When you fail, maybe God's trying to get your attention and saying, I want you to go in a new direction. I don't like the way that you're going right now. I want you to go another way. That's what happened with Elijah in the Old Testament, where he goes down by the brook and the ravens were coming down and feeding him, and the water was there. But one day the brook dried up, and he gets mad. He gets angry. God, why did the brook dry up? Well, you know what? Sometimes that happens in our lives. The brook dries up. The resources aren't there anymore. God said, it's real simple. I don't want you here anymore. As long as the brook was there, Elijah was going to hang out there. It was comfortable. But God said, I want you to move on. So God lights a fire under us sometimes. And sometimes it takes a painful situation to make us change our ways. And the third thing is God uses it to cultivate me. God uses failure to build my character. Romans 5:3-4 says, we can rejoice when we run into problems and trials, for we know that they are good for us. They develop strength of character. Failure has a way of softening our hearts. It helps us grow up and be mature. It makes us sensitive to others. Failure makes you less judgmental, helps you be a little more sympathetic to people around you who are hurting. Can you imagine how difficult it would be to live with you if you had an unbroken string of successes? You'd be some pompous jerk, excuse my language. You'd think you had the Midas touch. Everything turned to gold. If you never had any failures, you'd be unlivable. Now, failure doesn't automatically grow your character. It just makes some people bitter. Failure only builds your character when you respond to it correctly, when you learn from it, when you grow from it, when you say, what didn't work? here and what can I change? You've got to respond correctly. And the last thing about failure is we need to relax in God's grace. Psalm 103:14. God knows what we are made of. He remembers that we are dust. God isn't surprised when I fail. He expects it. He knows what I'm made of. He knows I'm just human. He doesn't expect me to be perfect in every way. He knows our frame, and he isn't surprised. So failure isn't all that bad after all. And I hope that you'll realize that, and from here on out, learn from it. Do those things that we said. And I hope and pray that it helps us all to grow. And just be relaxed in God's grace. Well, listen, that's about it for today. And I want to remind you to be at church on Sunday at 10:30, or at prayer meeting at 6:30 on Wednesday nights. And we'd love to see you there. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. And I pray that these messages will challenge you and bless you and help you to grow in your spiritual walk. Well, God bless you today. Have a great day and a great week. And Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow.